inherited the most secure border of all time. But minutes after taking office, he suspended all deportations, he halted construction of the border wall, and he announced a plan to give amnesty to millions. We know that President Biden didn't just create this border crisis. He invited it with 94 executive actions in his first 100 days. When I took office, I took a different approach. I traveled to the Del Rio sector of Texas. That's where I spoke to a woman who shared her story with me. She had been sex trafficked by the cartels starting at the age of 12. She told me not just that she was raped every day, but how many times a day she was raped. The cartels put her on a mattress in a shoebox of a room, and they sent men through that door over and over again for hours and hours on end. We wouldn't be okay with this happening in a third world country. This is the United States of America, and it is past time, in my opinion, that we start acting like it. President Biden's border policies are a disgrace. This crisis is despicable. And the truth is, it is almost entirely preventable. From fentanyl poisonings to horrific murders, there are empty chairs tonight at kitchen tables just like this one because of President Biden's senseless border policies. Just think about Laken Riley. In my neighboring state of Georgia, this beautiful 22-year-old nursing student went out on a jog one morning, but she never got the opportunity to return home. She was brutally murdered by one of the millions of illegal border crossers President Biden chose to release into our homeland. Y'all, as a mom, I can't quit thinking about this. I mean, this could have been my daughter. This could have been yours. And tonight, President Biden finally said her name. He refused to take responsibility for his own actions. Mr. President, enough is enough. Innocent Americans are dying, and you only have yourself to blame. Fulfill your oath of office. Reverse your policies. End this crisis and stop the suffering. Sadly, we know that President Biden's failures don't stop there. His reckless spending dug our economy into a hole and sent the cost of living through the roof. We have the worst inflation in 40 years and the highest credit card debt in our nation's history. Let that sink in. Hardworking families are struggling to make ends meet today. And with soaring mortgage rates and sky-high...
Hope you enjoyed the latest clip from the Wall Street Journal. We'd love to share our thoughts with you and hear yours. So let's start a discussion in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, follow us, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. The critical response to President Biden's first State of the Union by Katie Britt, a conservative figure, lays bare a sentiment felt across the heartland of America. President Biden has failed, particularly on the issue of border security. The policies introduced under his administration, suspending deportations, halting the construction of the border wall, and proposing mass amnesty, have flung open the doors to a crisis inviting chaos and human tragedy into our country. It's not hyperbole to suggest that by reversing the stringent and secure border policies of former President Donald Trump, President Biden has sown the seeds of a national security and humanitarian disaster. The repercussions of these policies have real, devastating human costs. We've heard heart-wrenching stories like that of a young woman sex trafficked by cartels, her life irrevocably shattered by violence and exploitation. These are stories that should not be those of any country, least of all one that prides itself on being a leader in human rights and personal freedom. Moreover, the direct link between lax border control and violent crime cannot be ignored. The tragic story of Lake, a young life snuffed out, allegedly by an illegal immigrant, drives home the human cost of a border policy which betrays common sense and basic human safety. As a conservative Republican and a proud American, I can't help but feel incensed when such preventable tragedies occur, and policies from the current administration seem to facilitate them rather than prevent them. President Biden's refusal to take ownership of the crisis, his actions have exacerbated, contributes to an ongoing erosion of trust in his leadership. It is, by all accounts, an abdication of the presidential oath of office to ensure the safety and security of the American people. It's a crisis compounded by senseless economic policies that have driven up the cost of living, leaving Americans reeling from the double blow of insecurity and inflation. In short, the picture painted by Katie Britt of President Biden's administration is one of abject failure on the economy, on security, and on safeguarding the American dream. The conservative vision for America includes robust border security, a strong economy, and the upholding of law and order. It is incumbent upon the president to reverse these damaging policies, address the border crisis with the gravity it deserves, and stop the unbearable suffering that his decisions have wrought. Enough is enough, and for the sake of our nation, a return to strong, principled leadership that truly prioritizes the well-being of all Americans can't come soon enough.